What's up, Group Coach Nation? I got Vicki Noethling with me today. Thank you, Vicki, for hanging out.
So excited to be here.
Fun fact about Vicki and I. So Alex Sanfilippo over at this cool company called Pod Pros, which is Podmatch. Many of you know Podmatch. They're like the place. If you want to do hosting and guesting of podcast and you want to meet your opposite in that space, it's like it's a dating app for
It
hosts
is.
and
It
guests.
is.
It is what it is, yeah. Anyway, Alex put together 2 books for the podcasting community. I mean, this is the coolest podcasting community and one of the largest on the planet. Like, it's freaking awesome. Alex Sanfilippo, look him up. All right, here's the Podmatch book. This is the guesting side. I co-authored this one. My picture is somewhere over here. I'm not going to point it out because it's ugly, but it's right there. Vicki had a much better picture, and she co-authored the hosting book. So
Okay.
look at this. We're bookshelf buddies. I love this. And this is the first time we met.
I know.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. So, okay, so I asked Vicki here to talk about being confident and talking about your offers. She does a ton of coaching for leadership, confidence, speaking, like being in public, not being weirded out. And one of the things that we see a lot, Vicki, in our community, and I'm sure you do too, everybody, we all get this. Like, we get a new offer or an existing offer, and some of us like look up to these people who are really, really maybe like majorly outgoing, and they're like rocking their offer and they're doing it on Instagram. You're like, how they do that? And then we like walk into a room of people or on a Zoom call and somebody's like, well, what are you doing? You're like, well, and you take like 3 minutes to describe the simplest thing ever. And everybody's like, I don't know what you do, but I do know that was awkward. And there's no sale going to come from that.
Yeah.
Right. So let's dive into this whole like getting over the weirdness of it. Like, can you just start with why are we weird about something that we're so honestly really proud of? We
Yeah.
like our offers.
You know what? I blame and my husband is a teacher, but ex-teacher now. But I blame our teachers and our parents because when we were young, we had to ingrained in us that we had to be perfect.
Hmm.
And when we got up to speak, it had to be memorized, and word for word that we wrote on that sheet of paper has to be delivered. But nobody knows what you wrote. Nobody really cares what you wrote. All they care about is, are you connecting with them? Is your story something that they see themselves in? And so I just tell everyone, forget about it. Pretend you're at the bar and or at dinner with somebody. Would you have to memorize what you're going to say at dinner? And if you do, please call me.
Yeah, that's so true.
Please call me. But no, you would not. You would just talk authentically, allowing vulnerability, allowing you to get passionate, excited about what you do, and understand and own that you are the subject matter expert of your life, of your book, of your product. So be happy to share it. And if they want it, they want it. If they don't, next.
I I love everything you just said. So I took away from that, like, hang out and talk about your product, your service, your offer, like you do if you were hanging out and just talking about the movie you saw yesterday when you're hanging out at a bar or at a
Exactly.
friend's house. That's so true. And then you also said before that, you said something basically like people just care how it connects to them.
Yeah.
They don't really care how polished you are when you say it. And that's so like for real. I don't know about you, Vicki, but like, even before jumping on this, like I'm looking at the camera, checking the screen, checking my hair. Like, is my shirt, is the lighting okay? Am I too shiny in the lights? I
Mhm.
didn't once think about how does Vicki look?
Yeah.
Because we're all kind of still middle schoolers in our hearts.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, are my new Nikes okay? You know? But the person across the table or the Zoom call, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about what's going on with themselves. And
Yeah.
do you see them there?
Yeah. And part of, what I try to do is I want to make it so that you see yourself doing this. And if you already feel uncomfortable or awkward speaking to one, two, or 500 people, you know, and you see me being cool and off, perfect and everything, you're going to say, well, heck, I can't do that. I'm not like that person. And I'm here to say, you can be.
Mm.
You can be, and I flub up all the time, but I own it. I have a good laugh about it, and then we move on.
Mhm.
And that's what I want for you.
I really like that. Okay. Here's where I think I see people get the most nervous when talking about their offers. It's typically when they feel like their offer is too expensive, or let me
Oh.
just say more expensive than they are comfortable with,
Mhm.
which has again nothing to do with the person that you're offering it to. That's up to them and their budget, not you and yours.
Yeah.
That's pricing, or they're doing something where they feel like they're like we teach people how to build their masterminds and their group coaching programs.
Mhm.
Frequently people are nervous about their offer when they're presenting it because the price, like, oh my gosh, I'm charging more than I ever have before. You're like, yeah, you
Yeah.
do. Or they're uncomfortable because they know they can handle like the first couple of weeks of their group coaching program or mastermind, but they're not really sure what's going to happen on like week 8 or 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And so they like want to cover that when talking about their offer. But I think like you said a minute ago, it's not about you. It's about the person. The person you're
Yeah.
talking to isn't thinking about week 8. They just want to know, can you help me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? How do you
And
how do you coach people to like practice this kind of stuff?
I think first
Yeah.
of all, I think it's more comfortable for the person, the individual that you're coaching, to know that you're serving their needs. So number one, who whomever you're working with, you have to authentically, actively listen to their needs, because you might need what I'm teaching in week 8 right away. So I need to be able to adjust individually for that person. Now, getting comfortable with your offer is going to just take practice. It is just like public speaking. You have to just keep giving the offer, stumbling over, getting that awkwardness through, and just being okay. This is my offer. If it doesn't work for you, then, let's just see what we can do to help you. And if that still doesn't work, then maybe there's another coach that's better for you. I think that we are thinking we have to have a cell for every single person.
Mm.
And there are a lot of people in the world, and there are a lot of coaches. And the key is finding that connection and that relationship and that bond that you get initially. And that's why I want you to be authentic and real when you're talking to the person, so they right away see who you are, and will I click with you?
Yeah.
Is this a partnership that is going to be fruitful? Because if you don't like me, if you don't trust me, if you don't believe in me, you're not going to do anything that I offer to you as suggestions.
Oh, that's good. That is so good because Vicky, you're like talking about authenticity there.
Hmm.
And and if I used to, man, I used to do that the wrong way. I would sell like in a different tone or personality than is true for me. And then I'm selling something that's my perception of what is cool to be doing online or whatever.
Hmm.
And then they show up in my mastermind and they're like, wait, this is a different person, because you can't sustain
Yeah.
faking it through the duration of a client relationship. So be
Mhm.
yourself, because like Vicky's saying, there are so many people out there. There's tons of clients, tons of coaches.
Mhm.
And in a real sense, this is a lot like a dating app. And
It is.
now we're not talking
It is.
that, but there's the right person's going to resonate with you, and you're going to resonate with them, and that's going to be really comfortable, and that's going to be where you want to go.
And it makes it so fun, for both parties, because when that person starts to get it, understand it, and grow and develop it, it is a win-win for both parties. For me, it's exciting to see the development and the change
Hmm.
that occurs in a person when they start to find their voice, to get comfortable and no longer awkward with giving the pitch, or giving, just even opening a conversation with somebody without feeling as if they are just not, I don't know, almost worthy to be able to talk about this thing that they do, and this gift that they have.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, so how do you practice getting comfortable with talking about your offer? Are you one of those people who's like, get in front of the mirror or record yourself or just simply do it? What's the game?
So I think it's like all of the above for me. I coach a lot of times with with the youth as well as adults that I work with to get in front of the mirror. But I really tell them a lot, talk to your dog and your cat. Because, if you are just boring, your dog is going to fall asleep. But if you add emphasis and energy and excitement, that dog and that cat, they're going to be either like running away from you or perking up, barking. And that reaction is kind of what you want. And I think people have a hard time, especially those folks that came from the corporate world that are coming into this environment now as authors or speakers. And they're like, I have to be so professional and I cannot, really crack a joke. And who wants to listen to that? I will be sustained and I will maintain that connection with you if you keep me entertained. I think there's a thing called edutain, where you're educating and entertaining at the same time.
Yeah.
So use the mirror to know, what is your facial expressions? Because sometimes I really have some weird ones. And I in one of my Toastmasters groups while I was a district leader, they used to always capture that worst look, so I practice smiling a lot. And that's a good thing to do because smiling is always returned. Before you smile, it is returned. So practice smiling. The other thing is, recording it, you get to hear that intonation and that vocal variety and that power and that passion in your voice. And you see where, oh, I could punch it up here. So those are things that are helpful. You can get someone to listen to you. As part of my coaching thing, we do evaluations so that we can just give feedback on how you did, good, bad, or indifferent. But be careful because you have to have sometimes thick skin because not everyone knows how to evaluate to motivate. And so you have to understand, it is just their opinion of what they heard.
Right.
And so
and you as an adult get to take and make a choice if you want to do something.
That's exactly right. But if they give you, well, I really wasn't interested in what you were saying, or you just gave me a bunch of facts, but where's the story? People forget, and again, going back to that person that's so professional, how important it is to touch their heart to make that sale. You have to make them have an emotional impact from what you're saying. You have to let them see, oh my God, if I don't do this, what will my life be like?
Yeah.
If I don't, even for this, if I don't get better at my pitch, I might have to stop doing this thing that I love.
Oh, it's so true.
It's so impactful, and people need to get over themselves and just let their heart talk in their speech.
Boy, you're really resonating with me. I'm learning so much. First of all, I want to go talk to everybody like I talk to my dog. Oh boy, it's gonna be so exciting.
My
Let's go on a Zoom call. Come on.
That's
Zoom
right.
call.
Also think of telling if you have kids, and you've ever told them a nursery rhyme. And I use like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. But, if you just say Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are, nobody's going to listen to you. But if you just like emphasize like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are up above the sky so high like a diamond. And then I do these things, and my 3-year-old grandson is like, oh
that's so great because you're making it real. Yeah.
And that's what you want to do when you talk about your business. It's like, what will it do for you? What impact will you get if you do this thing that I have for you?
I love that. Okay. So here's one thing I've done, and this was so scary. And I don't even want to say year to go back on my Facebook profile to look at all this junk. I used to I don't know. I think it was Russell. I was in one of Russell Brunson's masterminds years ago. And he said to practice, he said to go live every day, publish every day. We've all heard that, do your thing every day.
Yeah.
As a speaker or not a very good speaker then, and I I wouldn't say I'm a super awesome speaker now,
You're good.
but as an early stage speaker, that was so awkward,
Yeah.
publishing every day, because it made me go and like tell stories and learn to talk about my day and where the hardship was and this arc of the story and how it would come back up and how I eventually won. But then I had another hardship to overcome. It made me go through that process. But then like a few months later, somebody else in that same group said, okay, now you need to start talking about your offers, like 2 or 3 times a week, just throw it in. That was so hard for me.
Yeah.
But now it's so easy for me to tell people, I teach experts how to build masterminds. Go to groupcoachnation.com to find out more. Like, we got you. Like, I so believe that now because we do it. And I believe it because we do it. I think that's important for talking about our offers. Like, believe in your offer, folks. Like, if you can truly help someone figure out what they're trying to figure out, oh my gosh, say it, believe it, do it. Because that belief comes out. Like, you got to believe something before you can sell something. You really do. But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I always tell people, I'll believe in you until you believe in yourself.
Oh, that's good. Wow.
Yeah. And you have to just start small. And the thing is, just like anything, is all of those little wins that come along the way, all of those small things that you do will compound over time. It's, you didn't learn to walk in a day, you didn't learn to talk in a day. So be patient and good things will come. And then that first time that you sell something, that you close a deal, that starts to build that confidence. And so just keep, as you were saying, keep doing it. And each of those wins that you get will give you that belief in yourself that, if you get a no, you get a no. Like, here's Christmas time. I always tell people, you have a Christmas tree, you put Christmas bulbs on your trees or stars on your trees. So with every no, you put a new bulb on your tree.
Oh, wow.
You want to fill your tree with no's, because in those no's, there will be a yes.
That's a really good way to do it. I love that. It's right. There are more no's than yeses. That's just the way, that is the way running a business works. Yeah. So get used to it. Okay, we got like 7 or 8 more minutes here. The thing that's coming to mind is like making your offer shorter. I don't know about you, Vicki, but when I first started this, I was all over the place with my offer. We were running a mastermind of our own for digital agency owners, like before we started doing this. People kept asking us, how do you build a mastermind? Can you show us how? Okay. So we were like, okay, we teach authors, coaches, speakers, experts, life coaches, business coaches, all these people, how to build group coaching programs, meaningful experiences, connection to their clients, curriculum, lead gen, sales. This was my offer. And oh my gosh, that's a freaking paragraph and a half. And then it got shorter and shorter and shorter. And now it's just, we teach experts how to build masterminds.
Yeah.
So
you only have 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah. And the easier and faster I learned to say it, honestly, I think the better I got at it, because I didn't trip over myself. Like, adding more words to the sentence is just more opportunities for messing it up, right?
Yeah,
so just
that's true.
Keep narrowing it down. It's better for marketing and it's better for the way you say it.
Well, and also, like anything, you want to just say what you do, and you want them to ask questions, because now again, they ask questions, so you start to see what their needs are. Well, tell me more about that. Can you expound upon that? Because now it's not you pitching to them, it's you listening to them.
So true. That's so true. All right, so let's have some fun here, Vicki. What's your offer?
My offer is, I do a year-long coaching one-on-one with you to help you find your voice, to break through those butterflies. I also have a course for you that does 6 weeks. Whichever works for you, just call me, contact me, and let's start today.
Oh, I love that. And I can feel your heart, like, in that. That's like, your heartbeat is all through that. That's so cool.
I so want to help people. I really do.
I can, like, I know that from you, and your chapter in the hosting book at PodPro's book is so awesome. Here's Vicki's website. Vicki, I have another thought about this in a second. Let me just get this website up here so people can see it. If you're just listening, findyourleadershipconfidence.com. Findyourleadershipconfidence.com. I'll leave it on the screen for those of you who are watching. There it is. We'll pop it in the notes and stuff for you listeners. So, Vicki, in this podcasting world that we all, or many of us, live in,
Yeah.
I focused on being a guest on podcast. I didn't want to have the hassle of having a podcast. And now we have a podcast because inadvertently we recorded like 400 something episodes and never released any of them. And then Alex is like, dude, you freaking got a podcast. Just say the truth. Come on, put it out there. So we've done that. In the podcasting thing, though, talk about that. Why has podcasting, guesting, or hosting been meaningful to you? Since we're bookshelf buddies now, what's been like the biggest, I guess, win? I don't mean for you professionally, but for you personally, what's been the biggest win out of just you're hundreds of 100+ episodes in on this stuff? Yeah,
6 months too. I primarily host, and it's because I do a podcast almost every day.
So this guesting, like today, this isn't the common thing for you.
No, it isn't. I've only done about 7 or 8 in the last 6 months of guesting. And
I'm honored. Thanks for coming on.
And that's just partly because I have so many people that I'm hosting. And I find that is so fulfilling. I don't know. It takes away all the borders. I have hosted people from Australia, from India, from Africa, and it's like I become their friend. And we have a conversation and we laugh and we have a great time. And oh, by the way, I share a lot of information through those guests to help you in your business, in your life. And I don't narrow it just to only business related. I want you to have self-care. It's to be good at what you do, you have to look at that rounded person. And so I believe, the podcast is my way to reach more people than, me speaking on a stage might do. Although I do want to do that. But, the podcast is my daily conversation with you. And I just love doing it.
I love it. I agree. I think that's a big win I know we got to go in a second. It's just so fun talking about this stuff. I think one of the biggest wins for me in this is the same thing you said. It's the people that you meet. It's the relationships you build that really make the impact.
Yeah.
And I mean, truly selfishly, like I learned so much from this process, like having guests and host experiences. It's way better than just listening to a podcast or a show because you really get to know somebody. And I'm sitting here getting to ask my questions of you, not just listening to somebody else and then being like, dang, I wish I could ask that question. Yeah. All right. So let me just share one thing real quick. If you're trying to figure out podcasting, then just go to, let me just add this to the screen real quick. Here is the 2 books that Vicki and I are both in. Vicki's in the Pod Match Host Mastery. She co-authored that one. I co-authored the Pod Match Guest Mastery. If you want to figure out how to be a good guest or a good host on podcast, honestly, these books, what are Vicki? What is it, like 16, 15, 16?
Yeah, 16.
I mean, here's the back of my book, and there's all these different authors in there, and everybody just breaks down. Hold yours up, Vicki. Everybody just breaks down. This was not meant to be a pitch for these books. Everybody just breaks down like their experience as a host or a guest and how you do that strategically to run your business the right way, your podcast the right way, etc. That's the Amazon right there. You can buy them together. It looks like it's a bundle.
And it's a quick read.
Yeah.
And, we just get to the point, and if it adds more questions, you know where to go to get the answers.
It's super cool. And then here's Vicki's website. Again, Vicki, thank you so much for sharing all this with us. Go to Vicki's website, check it out. If you're trying to figure out how to be confident in your speaking, in delivering that offer, or I can't even say it. I'm so unconfident about this. If you want to, if you want to figure this stuff out, then go hang out and check out her website, reach out to Vicki and figure it out. We're here to teach you how to build high ticket masterminds. Vicki's here, like, if you're like struggling with like, but I just feel so awkward on camera, showing up, awkward showing up on sales calls, awkward doing a podcast. How could I ever be a guest? Like, reach out, because your voice needs to be heard. What you have inside you, the expertise, the passion, the years of blood, sweat, and tears that you've put together, you're going to save somebody else a decade of their life if they can hear your message and hear it clearly. And Vicki gets you there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate your time today.
It's been wonderful. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So there it is. findyourleadershipconfidence.com. Vicki again. Thanks, Group Coach Nation. As always, do the work, get the results. Just make sure you're doing the right work. All right. Lean in, ask questions in the comments as always. If I can't answer them, we'll tag Vicki. I'm sure she can answer them because she's way smarter about this stuff than I am. All right, everybody, keep rocking it. Have a great day.